Well, good morning, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us here on Up with KREM. I'm Channing Curtis.
Glad to have you here with us. I'm Tim Pham. So before we get to Jeremy, we do want to let you know we do have a couple of school delays to tell you about this morning. Davenport School District and Harrington schools will be on a 2-hour delay, and this is due to icy road conditions.
So let's get right outside to meteorologist Jeremy Legoo, who's letting us know what that morning commute can look like. So Jeremy, how are our roads looking right now, and how's it going out there with you at the Outdoor Weather Center? Are you struggling?
It doesn't look like he needs the umbrella anymore.
I am struggling, so I'm gonna break it down for you. I took a step outside. I went, oh, all that sleet from earlier this morning has melted. So I just confidently walk out here and I go, whoa. Turns out it just looks like it's melted, and it has not. 36 degrees though, and things are starting to melt rather rapidly, and temperatures will continue to climb. We are drying out, so as you saw, no more need for that umbrella. But we're warm here, 36 in Spokane, 31 in Deer Park, 32 there in Sandpoint, so it's snow off to the north. And then as you make your way farther west, Wenatchee, Moses Lake, Othello, you're looking at temps down in the 20s, and that means your precip is freezing as it hits. And that's some nastiness as you head out the door. For a little bit of everything from here in Spokane, where it's the whoa, over to the freezing rain over on the west side of central Washington, to the snow off to the north and down in the Palouse. It's a winter weather advisory. That lasts through 4 p.m. for us in North Idaho through 6 a.m. tomorrow. And that is for this, what you're seeing on the radar, and it's that wintry mix that is the freezing precipitation over in Wenatchee, Moses Lake, and Othello. As you make your way toward Ritzville, it's a bit warm, but still as that comes down, that is coming down at a decent enough rate that it's sticking to the ground and making things slick. Down in the Palouse, it's a similar story, so just be ready for it. It is a slick start to the day for a lot of us. We'll see this transition over to rain as we move into the late morning, 9 a.m. That's the time a lot of people wake up. You know, you do morning shows for long enough, 9 a.m. becomes late morning. We'll see that precipitation stay as rain here in eastern Washington. Not until you head up in elevation do you find that snow. I think this is where things get interesting for me, is what happens on Snoqualmie as we get into the middle of the day, because it will be rain, but temperatures should stay below freezing, and that means it's likely freezing rain, so we'll have to keep an eye on the mountain pass as we head into the second half of the day. Hour by hour though, here's how it breaks down. We're catching a break now, but temperatures continue to rise, and as we get our next push of moisture, we're up near 40 degrees later on this afternoon and staying there tonight.
Happening today, East Valley School District students return to class, and this comes after a COVID outbreak within the school district.
Now, school leaders, though, are still dealing with staffing shortages on top of all of that. So this morning, KREM 2's Nicole Hernandez is joining us live as students head back to school. So, Nicole, what are the district's plans as they go throughout the school year?
Channing, Tim, so right now I'm live outside of East Valley High School, where school just started. We saw, the students filing into their school, into their classrooms for school to begin today. Of course, things were different yesterday because the district did cancel classes after a wave of positive COVID-19 cases. So according to the East Valley School District, as of Friday, the January 7th, they had more than 80 students and 30 staff members test positive for COVID-19. They had to close after losing a lot of food and transportation services staff. The district also says staffing shortages in general have affected the district since September. The district does monitor COVID cases on a daily basis, and they plan to have in-person learning for the rest of the week. Now, during the start of the school year back in November, East Valley did a bout of remote learning. That was because of people out for COVID-19. The superintendent said the district did not do online learning this time around because they know some students don't have the bandwidth or connectivity to make a last-minute switch. The superintendent also says he'll do all he can to keep kids in classrooms.
So I'm in the business of educating kids, and we need our staff and we need our students in order to do that. So we're going to emphasize masking and as much distancing as we can.
Now, students will be required to make up the school day they missed yesterday at the end of this school year. The East Valley School Board also has their first meeting of 2022 planned for today. The superintendent, though, did not say whether or not the issue of these COVID-19 outages will be part of the meeting today. In Spokane Valley, Nicole Hernandez, KREM 2 News.
Well, in the meantime, the Meade School Board heard from the public last night on a potential for a COVID vaccine requirement in Washington schools.
So the issue far from decided and is set to be discussed by the State Board of Health tomorrow.
Now that's right, the vaccine will be added to the list of other required immunizations for school children. During the school board meeting, not one parent or board member supported the idea.
There are a lot of parents that are afraid to speak up. The vaccines are going to prevent my kindergartner from having the socialization that she needs.
My child will not be getting the vaccine, and my child also will still attend school regardless of the fact that she is not vaccinated.
Meade school board members sent out a survey. They received 3,200 responses from parents and community members.
Are you in favor of a COVID vaccine requirement for children ages 5 and up to attend school? And you can see that 71% of those responding responded no.
When asked if parents would vaccinate their children if the mandate passed, 62% of families said no. Roughly half of families surveyed said they would seek an exemption.
Over half said if there isn't an exemption process from the vaccine mandate, they would not vaccinate their student, even if this means withdrawing from the school district. That's one of the biggest concerns that we have, just potentially a mass exodus from public education.
So with those results, the board members passed a resolution opposing the idea of a COVID vaccine mandate for students. The board plans to send a letter to the State Board of Health along with 2,100 written comments submitted by the community. At 8:07, it's time for your morning rush. More news in less time.
Spokane police are investigating an assault and luring incident near Rogers High School. So a woman says she was approached by a man with a gun near Rockwell and Perry. Police say the man grabbed the woman, but she was able to get away. So police are describing the man as tall and thin, wearing a dark blue sweatshirt, shorts, and a bandana over his face. If you have any information, please call Crime Check. Their number is right there at the bottom of your screen.
The trial for the truck driver accused of crashing into a Spokane Dutch Bros coffee stand is pushed back. The crash injured 2 people last August. McGavin Madrain is charged with vehicular assault. The trial is getting pushed back to February 28th because they are still waiting for the results of the toxicology report. The owner of the Freya Dutch Bros told KREM 2 they will rebuild the stand in that same location and hope to reopen this spring.
Eastern Washington University is postponing 2 men's basketball games due to a COVID outbreak. Now, the team announced their next 2 games will both be put on hold, and that outbreak is within Eastern's own program. Those games have been rescheduled for later this month.
The Spokane City Council passed an ordinance last night dealing with tenant protections. Before the vote, Council President Brian Beggs clarified the only protection this ordinance provides is a ban on evictions for those who are waiting for their rental assistance application to be processed. And happening today, Governor Jay Inslee will give his State of the State address, where we are expected to learn more about the recent accomplishments and challenges facing the state right now, especially when it comes to COVID-19. And that's a look at your morning rush. Climate change continues to cause problems across the inland and Pacific Northwest, why we could see more landslides in the future.
And we're going to take you outside, talk winter weather advisories in place across the inland Northwest. This area I'm concerned about freezing rain, wintry mix, snow, and something in between. I'll walk you through it in just a couple of minutes.
All right, it is time now for your wake-up call. A new study shows that it's the simpler foods that tend to trip people up in the kitchen. So this morning, we want to know, what is a dish that is easy for so many people, but it's hard for you to cook? You can text us at 509-448-2000, or if using social media, use the hashtag #UpWithKREM and let us know what's the hardest thing to master in the kitchen. Lots of different answers this morning. One person says, I can't cook a good hamburger patty to save my soul. That is a tricky one. Another person says, gravy, also tricky. Mac and cheese is really hard to make when using real cheese instead of powdered cheese food. That's also true. So keep them coming, 509-448-2000, and we'll be talking about them all morning long.